Good morning, everyone. It is 7:07 a.m. and 36 wet, cold degrees outside as you're getting up in the hub this morning. And as promised, Karen Gibson is in the studio. This is Councilwoman Karen Gibson. Good morning, Karen.
Good morning.
Karen and I go back a long ways. Well, she's a heck of a golfer. Did you know that? We used to golf.
I used to be when I had
together.
time.
I'm telling you, I'm wondering why you didn't go on the tour.
Oh well. Yeah, well, not quite there yet, Dave.
Well, I tell you, we worked over Lake Ridge a few times, didn't we?
Yeah,
You know,
we
my
did.
wife and I were driving by there the other day, and I said, God, I'm glad I don't have to play golf anymore.
I miss Lake Ridge. That's a great course.
It is.
It's a great course.
That's one of those games where the longer I played, the worse I got. And so, anyway, other than that, how have you been?
Great. I have been great.
Well, of course, the reason you're here this morning is you're going to venture off into a different arm of politics and run for the Lubbock County Judge.
Yes, I am. And very excited about it.
So I have the most important question.
Okay.
Why did you talk to Chad Hasty about this before you talked to us?
He asked.
I'm just kidding.
He asked.
No, I'm just kidding. He's on top of all those
That's
things.
exactly
He's got
right.
it covered.
That's all right.
So what made you decide to run for county judge?
You know, I've been thinking about it for a long time. Several years ago, when I first came on council, when Tom Martin was mayor, I had asked Mayor Martin to have a joint meeting with the county commissioners and the city council, and we had a big meeting up at the Civic Center, and it really just kind of to see what we could do together as council and county, or city and county. And it really just kind of turned into a media fiasco. Nothing got done, nothing got accomplished, and I decided right then that once I was done on city council, because I knew I wanted to run for 2 terms on city council, and I knew that was what I wanted to do for the city. But I also knew that at that point I was wanting to run for the county. And then I had understood that Tom Head was going to retire. Whether he is or not, I don't know. He has not announced that publicly, but this is really good timing for me. My term is up as city council in May, so I'm running.
You ready to go?
I'm ready to go.
Well, obviously that's a very big job. What are some of the issues that you see?
I see a lot of issues. I think the county judge needs to be much more involved in the budget process. I know there's an auditor that basically does the budget right now, but I do believe the county judge's job is to be involved in that process from day one. I think there's not necessarily a budget season. I think that is done throughout the year.
How big a budget? Remind me, how big a budget are we talking about in the county?
I believe it's somewhere around $180 million. Now,
Okay.
that's
And this
probably not an exact number by any stretch.
And
I haven't
this
seen
is,
it.
of course, I know that roads are probably the biggest thing biggest budget item.
Well, actually, the sheriff's.
Well, and I was going to say
public safety. Yes.
Yeah, the public safety is
Yes.
going to be up there too.
Yes.
But that's a couple of the things that are the top.
Yes.
At
I
the
think
top of
roads
the
are
budget.
extremely important. I do think Kelly's probably got a good hold on the sheriff's department budget, but I do think you talk to those department heads throughout the year and stay in touch with those. You touch just every point of that budget throughout the year. How's it going? What's going on? How you know? What are you going to need for the next year? I just think you stay
Karen,
on top of it.
I'm telling you, this Lubbock County is booming, and obviously we're going to need more deputies. We're going to need more roads.
You have to look ahead. You have to plan ahead as to what you're going to need.
So is this going to be a budget problem, or do we think revenue is going to follow in suit?
I don't know that I see it as a problem. I think with the auditor, I've not met her. I've not visited with her. But from what I understand, she's very smart and very on top of it. So I'd like to sit down and visit with her and see what she's got for the future. And when I saw them actually approve their budget, they didn't have any discussion on it. And so I was a little surprised when they did that. I didn't see any discussion on it. So they may have had workshops prior that I just didn't see. But
so what are some of the, do you think is really the biggest problems that need to be addressed?
Roads.
What needs to be fixed?
Roads.
Roads.
And once again, I'll go back to I just haven't seen a plan. They may have a plan to do their road maintenance. I just haven't seen it.
Yeah.
To my knowledge, no one has. So I think there needs to be a plan in place. How are we going to get these roads maintained? How are we going to get these bar ditches maintained throughout the county? So they may have one. I just haven't seen it.
So you're looking at more like kind of what they do in Lubbock, as far as they don't wait until something's washed out or destroyed. Mm-hmm. They go ahead and they have maintenance on a regular basis.
I think you should have ongoing maintenance no matter.
Well, deferred maintenance has been a big problem, certainly with the city.
It's been a problem with the city. I think it's been a problem with the county.
Mm-hmm.
So
politicians don't like to deal with spending money that you can't see. You know, they love brick and mortar.
Yeah, they want something to see.
Yeah.
And I think that's a challenge. I think that's probably a challenge on both sides, city and county. And so,
well, you know, Karen, what they say about politics: if you fix the potholes, the citizens love you. That's the number 1, 2, and 3 things with the citizens.
Mm-hmm. They want something they can see, just like potholes. If they call in a pothole and the next day it's fixed,
they want it fixed.
They do want it fixed
because they drive over them every
day.
And it's nothing more annoying than running over a pothole.
But when it rains and those bar ditches are full or have been built up over the years because those roads have been graded and filled them in, and there's nowhere for that water to go, that's an issue. Yeah. That's a problem.
This brings up a question. I suppose what I'm seeing are county inmates that are work in the bar ditches. Mm-hmm. Is that county inmates?
Yes.
So are they paid?
I would assume that is a MOU between the county and the sheriff's department.
They would have to be paid, wouldn't they?
Something.
So we use county inmates.
That I don't know. I cannot answer that question.
Okay, so we use county inmates for maintenance in the bar ditches before they mow. Mm-hmm. And so I'm sure that run those tractors over, gosh, how many miles? Oh, it's like 12,000 miles.
1,200 miles.
1,200 miles of road? Mm-hmm. Not 12,000.
1,200.
No, 1,200 miles of county roads that must be maintained. That's got to be a very expensive proposition.
Yes. It's a lot to take. It's a lot to undertake, but you get a plan. You have a plan, and you at least have something to go on and have something to look forward to.
Okay, let's take a quick break and we'll be right back, Karen. News Talk 95.1 FM and 790 AM. We are KFYO, mornings with Dave King and Matt Martin. It is 36 cold, wet degrees as you're getting up this morning, 7:22 AM, and we're talking with Councilwoman Karen Gibson, who's running for the Lubbock County Judge position. Administrative and judicial are the 2 big parts of that job.
Yes, sir.
And of course, the judicial. How do you propose handling that?
No different than anybody else would. No different than anyone that would be in that seat would. I think anyone that actually I know anyone that goes into that seat is going to go through training. So whoever wins that seat is going to go through the same training. I visited with several attorneys.
Now, would that be like state training?
Yes.
That you'd go to Austin?
You go through training for that position.
Okay.
Anyone that wins that seat goes through it. That's just a given. I have visited with several attorneys, and they have said they don't even necessarily want an attorney in that position. They want somebody with integrity. They want somebody with honesty. They want somebody that will listen and do the job right and make the right decisions. You do non-contested probates, but anything that's contested goes down to the courts, out of your court. So you're not going to deal with anything that's contested. Everything that comes to you is going to be cut and dried. As far as the guardianships, anything that comes to you, once again, they want you to listen. They want you to bring in all of the the facts. They want you to hear all of the parties involved and make the right decision. I don't think just being an attorney has that ability. I think anybody with integrity, honesty, anybody can do that job. I think I can do that job. I know I can do that job.
Okay.
So as far as guardianships are concerned, what exactly is that? Are you talking about it like adoptions? Are you talking about deciding if it... how does that work?
This is guardianships. Let's say your mom. Mm-hmm. For instance, your mom, we'll take your mom, for instance, needs somebody to take care of her finances, of her needs guardianship over her her estate.
Right.
That brings in all the parties. So your brothers, your sisters, everybody comes in, has their say, brings in all of the facts, and then the judge would make the decision as to who is going to be the guardian over that person.
Okay. Makes sense.
And that's just kind of a 30,000 foot.
Right.
So we're not talking about like guardianship of children like in a divorce situation?
No.
Okay.
No. Not in a divorce situation.
So this is basic. Lubbock County Judge deals with probating wills. Mm-hmm.
Uncontested wills.
Uncontested.
That's very important. Yes.
Something that basically has already been cut and dried, and all they need, I guess, in most cases, is just
to
a
have
signature.
it read. Yes.
Yeah, and do they read that before the Lubbock County Judge, and you sign off on it, and it's official.
Yes, that's correct.
Well, so that's so no divorce situation where you're deciding who gets the kids.
No, sir. No, sir.
One big thing that's been a lot of people in Lubbock's mind, and when I asked yesterday, I'll ask again, was SB 2, which became SB 1, which was capping tax rates at 4%. Now, the county had 2 county commissioners that went down to Austin and spoke against that. So just what are your feelings on that, or your views on that cap?
My views have not changed on that, not one iota. From the very get-go on this, I have been absolutely for SB 2. In my opinion, there is absolutely nothing wrong with it. The cap right now is at 8%, and going back down to 4 is not a problem. I was really surprised that it went to 5. I thought when it went to 4, they would end up at 6. But I believe they're probably going to end up at 5. Now, one thing everybody was concerned about were the rural counties that had the smaller populations. Now, I do believe in this next session, this will come back. It will come back up. I think those smaller populated counties will be carved out.
I think they were anyway, weren't they?
They were working on carving them out, yes. So I think that issue is going to go away.
Karen, we only have a minute left. And I want to kind of turn the floor over to you, and you can do your elevator speech and tell us about why you want to be the judge and why you think you'd be a
I do want to be the judge, and I believe I'd be a good county judge. I think the city and the county need to work together more. Lubbock has grown to the point of it is the county. I do think you cannot rule out Shallow Water, Wolforth, New Deal, Acuff, Idalou. You cannot. You just cannot rule those out, but the city has grown to the point where it is the county. I think we've got to start working together. We've got to start pulling these resources together where we can and make these resources go further for the citizens. I just believe that to be true. I have for a long time. I think the budget has got to be, the commissioners have got to be more involved in the budget process from day one. The budget starts the day after the budget is passed, not during the season, quote unquote.
Okay, well, very good, and we wish you luck in your campaign.
Thank you.
And we're going to take this 7:30 break. Thanks for coming out.
Thank you for having me.
I'm sure we'll be talking to you again.
Sure.
It is 7:29 right now here on KFYO Mornings, and we'll be back after this.